Chapter 1. The Divine Lottery System. This morning was unlike any other. The sky hung heavy and dark, threatening to unleash a torrential downpour. At the entrance of Magic City University, Lin Fan greeted Lu Qian with a smile. "Qin Qian, you finally came out. I bought 2 tickets for a movie. Let's go watch it together at noon." However, Lin Fan failed to notice the icy indifference in Lu Qian's gaze. "Lin Fan, please don't seek me out again." A foreboding sensation gripped Lin Fan's heart. Yet he inquired with concern, "Qin Qian, are you feeling unwell?" "Imperfectly fine." Lu Qian's voice was frigid. "Lin Fan, if you insist on me stating it plainly, then so be it. You are no longer my boyfriend." Lin Fan felt as if his heart had been pierced by a scorpion's sting, a searing pain enveloping him. "Qin Qian, we've been together for 4 years. Why? Is it because I haven't treated you well enough?" "Lin Fan, you are terribly naive. From the very beginning, I merely regarded you as a backup." Lin Fan shook his head vehemently, unwilling to accept this harsh reality. "It's impossible. This cannot be true. Today is not April Fool's Day. Qin Qian, please don't jest with me." A mocking smile curled at the corners of Lu Qian's lips. "Wake up, Lin Fan. There are countless suitors lining up from the front gate to the back. Do you truly believe that I, Lu Qian, would ever fall for you? Love you for your poverty? Love you for your 2-digit savings? You lack wealth and connections. If it weren't for your slightly handsome appearance, I would have discarded you long ago. With graduation approaching and unemployment looming, let's be realistic. I'm trying my best. Give me a little time." Lin Fan made one last desperate plea. 3 years. 5 years. Lu Qian scoffed. "Are you aware of the housing prices in Magic City? Even a lifetime of hard work would yield little. Love, in the face of harsh reality, proved to be incredibly fragile." Though this was merely Lin Fan's one-sided affection. Gazing at this familiar, yet unfamiliar woman, self-mockery mingled with a surge of anger within him. This woman had been toying with his emotions all along. How despicable. Suddenly, a jarring honk of a car horn pierced the air, followed by the arrival of a blue Audi that came to a halt beside Lu Qian. The car door swung open, revealing a young man dressed in a suit, holding a small gift bag. "Qin Qian, this is a gift for you. I hope you like it." Lu Qian opened the gift bag, her face lighting up with surprise. "It's the latest iPhone 12. Haichao, I absolutely adore it." Lu Qian grasped Wu Haichao's hand, as if Lin Fan were non-existent. "This must be your ex-boyfriend Lin Fan, correct?" Wu Haichao's gaze shifted to Lin Fan, laced with provocation. "Indeed." Lu Qian nodded, saying, "Darling, let's go have a meal. Ignore him." Wu Haichao looked at Lin Fan with a mocking glint in his eyes and said, "By the way, you're still my junior. If you can't find a job after graduation, feel free to reach out to me. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wu Haichao, and my family is in the building materials business." Wu Haichao's words were merely an attempt to belittle Lin Fan. Certainly, there exists an element of boastfulness in this. "Lin Fan, we belong to 2 entirely different worlds. Do not entangle yourself with me any longer. What Haichao can provide, you cannot." With that, Lu Qian followed Wu Haichao into the vehicle. As she watched the car gradually depart, Lin Fan was engulfed by a tumult of anger and resentment. He had never anticipated that this relationship would conclude in such a manner. "Lu Qian, one day you shall regret the choice you made today." Sighing deeply, Lin Fan turned to leave. Yet, at that moment, a bolt of lightning struck above him. Boom! The sound was deafening. Lin Fan could hardly believe his misfortune. Not only had he been abandoned by his girlfriend, but now even the lightning seemed to target him. It was utterly unjust, he lamented to the heavens. "You have struck the wrong person." A tingling sensation enveloped his body, and then darkness overtook him. Time passed in a haze, and Lin Fan, in a state of confusion, began to hear peculiar sounds echoing in his mind. The Supreme Lottery System is being activated. 25, 45, 65, 85. System activation successful. Lin Fan opened his eyes to find himself resting in a hospital ward at SO. "I am not dead. The host has 3 lottery chances each day. Shall we proceed with the draw?" Lin Fan was momentarily taken aback, struck by lightning, and now a system has emerged. Could this be what they refer to as turning misfortune into fortune? A smile crept across Lin Fan's face. Indeed, while the system may arrive late, it is never absent. Lottery. The voice of the system resonated softly. "Congratulations, host. You have drawn 100 shares of Chu Phone Group." "Congratulations, host." You have drawn 300 million Huaxia coins. Congratulations, host. You have drawn a beginner gene serum. Excitement surged within Lin Fan, prompting an involuntary exclamation of wow. Shufeng Group, a real estate company with a market value of 200 billion. Why this calculation? Does that not make me a billionaire? The beginner gene serum, upon consumption, would enhance physical strength and improve one's appearance. This is truly astonishing. And 300 million Huaxia coins, how shall I spend that? Lin Fan found himself questioning whether he was dreaming that moment. His phone buzzed with a message from Huaxia Bank. Your bank account number 2244 has received a transfer of 300 million.00 Huaxia coins. Your balance after the transaction is 300,956.46. This is real. Upon receiving the message, Lin Fan leaped from his hospital bed. Patient, you are still very weak. Please do not stand. A nurse entered the room. Lin Fan, suppressing his exhilaration, inquired, Doctor, who brought me to the hospital? A student named Suya called for an ambulance, reporting that someone had been struck by lightning. However, do not worry, we have examined you, and your health is not in jeopardy. That Suya even covered 1,000 yuan of your medical fees, and upon learning that you were out of danger, she left. Suya. Lin Fan felt a sense of familiarity with that name. Indeed, is this not the belle of Magic City University? I never anticipated that it would be the campus beauty herself who brought him to the hospital. With the emergence of this system, even fortune and romance has accompanied it. Once he returns, he must repay the medical expenses he advanced. This moment, Lin Fan harbored a flicker of confusion. He distinctly recalled being struck by lightning. Miraculously, he emerged unscathed, which could only be attributed to the system. Truly, those who survive great tribulations are destined for greater blessings. After the nurse departed, Lin Fan eagerly retrieved the basic gene serum and consumed it. Initially, he felt nothing, but gradually, he realized that his vitality surged. The sensation was quite pleasant. His appearance also saw a slight enhancement, though it remained subtle. Disliking the medicinal scent of the hospital, he soon completed his discharge procedures. He eagerly anticipated the next encounter with Lu Qian, wondering what exquisite expression would grace her face. Naturally, it was impossible for Lin Fan to persuade Lu Qian to reconsider a woman who had changed her affections was not worth his efforts to reclaim. Through today's events, Lin Fan had come to see Lu Qian's true nature. Chapter 2. The Purchase of a Car. Sir, welcome to the Haidong Ferrari Center. Upon the arrival of a guest, the two female sales representatives at the entrance greeted him with beaming smiles. Ferrari, a luxury automobile brand, attracts only the affluent, hence the vast showroom was sparsely populated. Is that not Lin Fan? One of the saleswomen recognized him, her expression swiftly morphing to one of derision. She had expected a wealthy heir, only to find a mere pauper. Han Yuding, Lin Fan's high school classmate, was well aware of his background. Lin Fan also recognized Han Yuding, a flicker of disdain crossing his gaze. Han Yuding had always been one to despise the poor and favor the rich, and it was evident she had not changed in the slightest. Lin Fan, you must be in the wrong place to open your eyes and see what kind of establishment this is. Han Yuding crossed her arms, regarding Lin Fan with a mocking stare. Yuding, do you know him? Inquired the other saleswoman. Han Yuding nodded. Just look at the cheap attire he wears. It should be apparent he lacks funds. In any case, ignore him to avoid wasting time. Her expression was one of utter contempt. Lin Fan chuckled. I may indeed be short on cash, but surely I can come here to admire the cars. Even if you gaze upon them, you cannot afford one. Han Yuding scoffed. You merely wish to snap a few photos to flaunt, and I have seen many like you. With that, she dismissed Lin Fan and retreated. The other saleswoman pondered for a moment before following suit. In their line of luxury car sales, despite high commissions, it was not uncommon for a month to pass without a single sale. Thus, there was little reason to squander time. Nonetheless, Lin Fan did not leave instead. He ventured alone to peruse the vehicles. He felt compelled today to give that Han Yuding a good slap in the face. Truly, it is a case of a dog's eyes looking down on others. Observing Lin Fan meandering alone in the store, the female sales associate expressed her concern. What if he decides to approach our manager to file a complaint? Han Yuding remarked, some people are like that, they pretend to be important even when they lack wealth. After a moment of contemplation, Han Yuding summoned an intern from the store. Xiaolei, please attend to the guest over there. She gestured towards Lin Fan, as she had no intention of engaging in such unreciprocated efforts as long as someone attended to him. Even if Lin Fan were to lodge a complaint later, she could manage the situation. Certainly, Sister Ting, Guo Lei, having just started her job here, was not as calculating as Han Yuding. "Sir, may I ask how to address you?" Guo Lei approached Lin Fan and inquired politely. "My surname is Lin. You may call me Lin Fan." Noticing Lin Fan's interest in the sports car before him, Guo Lei took the initiative to elaborate. This Ferrari is equipped with a 3.9T engine, boasting a maximum power of 720 horsepower, and it accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers in just 2.9 seconds. "Mr. Lin, you are welcome to sit in it." Guo Lei opened the car door. Lin Fan settled into the vehicle. He was struck by the lavish interior, which exuded an unparalleled sense of luxury. He harbored a dream of owning a sports car, which was the reason behind his choice of high-end vehicles. Do you have any top-spec models available for immediate purchase? Lin Fan was not overly concerned about the price, given that he had 300 million Huaxia coins resting in his bank account. Guo Lei shook her head. "Top-spec cars are quite rare. If you were to place an order now, it might take 2 to 3 months. Lin Fan sighed in resignation. Waiting 2 to 3 months was not an option for him. "Which models do you have in stock? Please show me." Guo Lei led Lin Fan to another vehicle. "This is the Ferrari Roma. We happen to have one available, with a guide price of 2.38 million. Lin Fan shook his head. "The car is nice, but that price." "Mr. Lin, if you find this price steep, I could request some discounts from my manager." No, I believe this price is too low. Let's look at another one." Guo Lei was left speechless. "Sir, you consider 2.38 million to be low? That amount could buy several fuel-efficient and durable vehicles. Indeed, the pretense of wealth can be quite grievous." Suddenly, Guo Lei's eyes lit up. "Mr. Lin, what do you think of that convertible sports car over there?" Following her gaze, Lin Fan spotted a gray convertible sports car. Its streamlined body and imposing appearance were striking. "That must be a limited edition Ferrari 812, right?" Lin Fan had researched the vehicle online and knew its price was substantial, exceeding 10 million. Guo Lei confirmed, "Indeed, it is a limited edition, and we have one in our garage. That was reserved by a previous customer, but later he decided against it for his own reasons. However, Mr. Lin, rest assured that the vehicle has just arrived at the dealership, and it is undoubtedly brand new, with no issues whatsoever." Lin Fan nodded. "If I can drive it away today, then I will take it." Guo Lei, astonished, replied, "Mr. Lin, that car requires nearly 16 million to complete the paperwork. Are you certain? If that Ferrari were sold, Guo Lei would earn a substantial commission." Lin Fan produced his bank card, stating, "Please charge it directly. The password is 6/8." He did not wish to spend excessive time selecting a vehicle. "Very well, Mr. Lin, please hold on for a moment." Guo Lei, brimming with excitement, took Lin Fan's bank card to the front desk. Wealthy individuals purchasing cars is a striking contrast to buying mere vegetables. Meanwhile, Han Yuding observed Lin Fan meandering through the showroom, her expression thick with derision. If one is broke, one should embrace it rather than pretend otherwise. "Xiao Lei, come here for a moment." Han Yuding summoned Guo Lei and admonished her. "Xiao Lei, as a newcomer, you must learn to discern potential clients. Do not invest too much effort in the one you just attended to, as it is evident he lacks funds. But, Sister Ting, Mr. Lin has set his sights on that limited edition Ferrari 812 and insists on taking it today." Han Yuding's disbelief was palpable. "How can that be? That car costs around 16 million. How could a mere pauper like Lin Fan afford it?" Guo Lei insisted. "It is true he handed me his bank card and password, instructed me to process the payment directly." Han Yuding crossed her arms, still unconvinced that Lin Fan could produce over 10 million. "I suspect that bank card is devoid of funds. If you doubt me, feel free to test it." Guo Lei, influenced by Han Yuding's words, began to harbor doubts as well. Indeed, very few could readily summon 16 million. With uncertainty, Guo Lei retrieved the card reader. "Lin Fan, should you fail to produce 16 million, I shall relish your embarrassment." Han Yuding observed, already concocting ways to ridicule Lin Fan. Yes, if he fails to procure the funds, she would share his misfortune with her high school classmates. Let us see how this fellow manages to face others thereafter. Chapter 3 Limited Edition Sports Car. Guo Lei entered the price with great care, followed by her cautious input of the password. However, the card machine displayed a failure in the transaction. "See, I told you Lin Fan is broke. You've been deceived. Han Yuding sneered incessantly. This outcome was well within her expectations. No, it seems I must have input the wrong password. Gui Xiaolei tried again, and this time it went smoothly. The transaction was successful. The card machine whirred as it printed the receipt. Impossible. The shock that surged within Han Yuding was profound as she gazed at the receipt. When had Lin Fan become so affluent? Had he won the lottery? Or perhaps he had entangled himself with some wealthy woman. Reflecting on her earlier actions, regret flooded Han Yuding's heart. Lin Fan was her classmate. Had she taken the initiative to treat him, this transaction would undoubtedly have been hers. Alas, there exists no remedy for regret in this world. The one most elated was undoubtedly Gui Xiaolei. The successful transaction implied a substantial commission for her. Xiaolei, check how much is in this bank card. After the initial shock, Han Yuding's gaze towards Lin Fan shifted as she quietly instructed Gui Xiaolei beside her. She was genuinely curious about the balance in Lin Fan's bank account. To spend 16 million on a car, there must be no shortage of funds. Tingjia, isn't this inappropriate? It involves client privacy, Gui Xiaolei hesitated. What's there to fear? Besides us, no one else knows about this. Hurry, Lin Fan will be here soon. To be honest, Gui Xiaolei was also quite intrigued. Ultimately, her curiosity triumphed over her reason. As they counted the figures displayed from the inquiry, both Han Yuding and Gui Xiaolei were left astounded. This, 280 million, am I seeing things? Han Yuding felt even more regretful. Had it not been for those earlier incidents, perhaps she could have formed a good friendship with Lin Fan. After all, who wouldn't he want to befriend Tycoon? Mr. Lin is truly wealthy, Gui Xiaolei exclaimed in awe. Xiaolei, you're still not quite familiar with the vehicle pickup process. Allow me to handle it from here. Han Yuding intended to apologize to Lin Fan. If he had not taken her earlier remarks to heart, that would be most fortunate. Simultaneously, Han Yuding yearned to engage more with Lin Fan. Should she manage to charm him, her later years would be devoid of worries. As for pride, Han Yuding was oblivious to its significance. Gui Xiaolei felt discontent yet dared not voice it. She could only lower her head and sulk away. Han Yuding, being a long-standing employee, would make future days difficult for anyone who crossed her. With the bank card and a contract in hand, Han Yuding approached Lin Fan with a beaming smile. Lin Fan, I truly apologize for earlier. Here is your bank card along with the car purchase contract. Just sign here, and you may collect your vehicle. Her demeanor had shifted from coldness to warmth. However, Lin Fan merely cast a faint glance at Han Yuding. Where is that saleswoman? Have her come here. Lin Fan had no desire to grow too close to Han Yuding. He was acutely aware that her rapid change in attitude stemmed solely from his financial prowess. You mean Gui Xiaolei, right? She has other matters to attend to. I shall handle the subsequent processes. Upon seeing her, Lin Fan felt entirely devoid of the mood to retrieve his vehicle. With Gui Xiaolei absent, a refund was certainly in order. Lin Fan harbored no fondness for Han Yuding and was equally cognizant of her ulterior motives. Han Yuding appeared quite embarrassed and had no choice but to summon Gui Xiaolei. Nevertheless, she showed no intention of departing. She was still devising ways to improve Lin Fan's impression of her. Word had it that someone had acquired a limited edition Ferrari 812, prompting the dealership manager to emerge. The manager treated Lin Fan with utmost courtesy, believing that anyone willing to spend 16 million on a car must surely be a wealthy heir. Once the paperwork was completed, Lin Fan followed Gui Xiaolei to inspect the vehicle, and the subsequent processes went smoothly. The manager had initially intended to accompany Lin Fan to the vehicle registration office to obtain the license plates, but Lin Fan declined, as he deemed the process straightforward enough to handle alone. Just as Lin Fan drove the car out of the dealership, Han Yuding chased after him. Lin Fan, I apologize. Those previous remarks were merely jokes. Please do not take them to heart. Han Yuding was unwilling to concede. Lin Fan found the situation amusing and halted the car. Lin Fan, allow me to treat you to dinner, she proposed, believing that by befriending him, everything would fall into place. Sure, Lin Fan replied with a smile. Han Yuding, under the impression that he had acquiesced, swiftly entered the car, her face beaming with joy. I knew you still consider me a friend. Thank you, Lin Fan. Where shall we dine? Get lost, and don't dirty my car. Lin Fan's demeanor shifted abruptly. He felt an overwhelming urge to physically eject Han Yuding from the vehicle. Startled, Han Yuding exclaimed, "But you said—" "My earlier words were also jest. Why must you take them seriously?" Lin Fan retorted, throwing her own words back at her. The audacious woman dared to harbor intentions toward him. How preposterous! Realizing she had been played, Han Yuding's chest heaved with indignation. She shot Lin Fan a fierce glare before exiting the vehicle in a huff. It seemed that Lin Fan was no longer an option for her. The Ferrari roared down the bustling street, drawing the attention of many who were captivated by its opulent exterior. That car is simply too cool. It appears to be a Ferrari 812, with a base price exceeding $5 million. Come on, that's a limited edition. Without over $10 million, don't even think about it. How stunning. I wonder which prodigal heir is behind the wheel. Many beautiful women swooned, fantasizing about being in the passenger seat. What a pity there isn't a lovely lady beside him. If only I could sit in that car. Many onlookers were lost in daydreams. Stop daydreaming. Someone who can afford such luxury cars surely has no shortage of girlfriends. Vehicles on the road opted to steer clear of Lin Fan, aware that a careless scrape could spell disaster. Insurance wouldn't cover the damages. "Husband, what kind of car is that? It looks so impressive. We should consider getting one ourselves." "What nonsense! A car worth over $10 million? Can we afford that? Drive slowly. If you crash, I'll replace you first." Lin Fan first went to the vehicle management office to handle the license plate, then drove around the outskirts of the city for several laps. By the time he returned to the university gate, dusk had settled in. He intended to find Suya. After all, she had helped him in the morning by covering 1,000 yuan for his medical expenses. Lin Fan was not the type to be ungrateful. Of course, he was aware that Suya was renowned as the campus beauty at Mo-Do University, but at that moment his thoughts were not overly complicated. He simply wished to treat her to a meal and return the money she had lent him. "I'm sorry, sir, but this is a campus area. You cannot drive in." As soon as Lin Fan arrived at the entrance, he was stopped by the security guard. According to school regulations, vehicles from outside were indeed not allowed entry without permission. "I am a student from the computer science department. Here is my student ID." The security guard scrutinized Lin Fan for a moment. "Then please register." The school did not prohibit students from driving onto the campus. In fact, many affluent students often drove their cars into the university, as the price of the vehicle significantly influenced their success in attracting romantic interests. Having seen numerous luxury cars, the guard was unfamiliar with the one Lin Fan was driving. While Lin Fan registered, the guard took the opportunity to look it up online. Goodness gracious! A limited edition Ferrari 812, worth over $10 million. Most of the cars that rich kids drive are only worth hundreds of thousands. Which wealthy family does this young master belong to? How come I've never seen him before? Chapter 4. The campus bell after Lin Fan completed his registration. The security guard did not impose any difficulties and allowed him to enter. My heavens, what do I behold? Is that not a limited edition Ferrari 812? How incredibly cool. When might I acquire such a vehicle? Stop dreaming. That is not a luxury within the reach of ordinary individuals. Have you noticed the handsome figure in the car? He is my husband. Nonsense, he is undoubtedly my husband. The female students flanking the road began to bicker amongst themselves. Lin Fan paid no heed to their envious gazes and drove straight toward the library. Suya, both the campus belle and an academic prodigy, often relished her time in the library. However, it remained uncertain whether she would be present this evening. Driving a sports car has its drawbacks, particularly the low ground clearance. Given the numerous speed bumps scattered throughout the campus, Lin Fan dared not accelerate too rapidly. A scrape against the undercarriage would be unfortunate. Before long, Lin Fan arrived at the library. Coincidentally, at the entrance stood a wealthy heir professing his love to Suya. The young man knelt on one knee, presenting a bouquet of roses in a diamond ring, surrounded by a charming arrangement of lights and balloons. Before him stood Suya, the belle of Magic City University. She was tall and elegant, adorned in an azure gown, her features exquisite and her demeanor graceful. "Suya, I have harbored feelings for you for quite some time. Please accept me." A group of affluent peers, hired as performers, cheered on, all of whom were also students at the school. "Accept him! Accept him!" They clamored. "Li Chun, Haven T, I already told you. Do not approach me again. I do not harbor feelings for you." Suya's expression bore traces of anger. Over the past few days, she had received too many confessions, making it impossible to evade them. It was quite vexing. Ordinarily, the school faculty would intervene, yet with graduation approaching, such measures have become ineffective. It is understood that if one does not act boldly now, opportunities will be lost once they leave the campus. So yeah, this diamond ring cost me over 30,000. Please try it on. I am certain you will adore it. Suya remained silent and turned to leave. All right then. Confession failed. Wait. Observing Suya depart, Lin Fan pursued her in his car. Wow, another one. The headlights blazed brightly, and the luxurious contours of the sports car captured everyone's attention. Suya turned around and immediately recognized Lin Fan. It's you. She recalled that it was Lin Fan who had collapsed at the school gate that morning, and she had called for an ambulance, later assisting him with a portion of his medical expenses. However, Suya was unaware of Lin Fan's name. Lin Fan exited the vehicle and introduced himself. I am Lin Fan. Thank you for your assistance this morning. Suya shook her head and replied, it was a mere trifle. I'm just glad you are well. Regardless, I must express my gratitude. How about I treat you to a meal and return your money? Suya declined. No need for me. That simply will not do. You have indeed helped me. Suya cast another glance at Lin Fan, speculating that he was likely from a wealthy family as well. However, Lin Fan exuded a charm that set him apart from other affluent heirs. Naturally handsome, his appearance had only improved after consuming a basic gene potion. Dining together seemed agreeable enough. After contemplating, Suya inquired, may I bring along 2 of my roommates? Remaining on campus might invite unwanted attention. A meal out could be a welcome respite. Yet, the thought of going out alone with Lin Fan made her hesitant. Thus, she opted to include her roommates. Not a problem. Bring as many as you like. He replied, please wait a moment. I'll return to my dormitory. Upon hearing Suya's consent, the heart of the wealthy suitor who had confessed shattered. Alas, the goddess was being courted by another. The irony was that the rival was not only more handsome, but also drove a superior vehicle. Truly, comparisons could be disheartening. As Suya headed back to her dorm, the other boys dispersed, yet many girls lingered, eager to acquire Lin Fan's phone number. Naturally, he declined their requests. Suddenly, Lin Fan's phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Without a second thought, he hung up, but the call came through again shortly thereafter. With no choice, he answered. Hello, I am Zhao Yang, the general manager of Chu Phone Group. May I speak with Mr. Lin Fan? The urgency in Zhao Yang's voice stemmed from the recent acquisition of Chu Phone Group, prompting him to reach out to Lin Fan. Yes, that's me. Lin Fan confirmed. Wonderful. I'm so glad to reach you. Mr. Lin, are you in the Magic City? I would like to invite you to dinner. As the head of the company, Zhao Yang understood the importance of treating Lin Fan well. I have prior engagements in no time, Lin Fan replied. However, I do have an urgent document that requires your signature for it to take effect. I will come to find you. Lin Fan pondered for a moment before suggesting, meet me at the entrance of Magic City University. The Chu Phone Group was not far from the school, merely a 10-minute drive. Great, I'll be there shortly. After hanging up, Lin Fan continued to wait for Suya. After 5 or 6 minutes, she finally emerged from the dormitory, having changed into a more alluring outfit. Where are your roommates? Lin Fan inquired. They've all gone out, and I can't reach them. Never mind, I'll go with you alone. Suya replied, feeling a bit helpless, yet determined to honor her word to Lin Fan. Get in. Suya climbed into the car, taking her place in the passenger seat. A flutter of nervousness stirred within her, as she was still not well acquainted with Lin Fan. Agreeing to dine together had been rather sudden. This car must be quite expensive, Suya remarked, lacking knowledge about sports cars. It's not too pricey, just over 10 million. Lin Fan replied casually. Suya was taken aback. Just over 10 million and it's not expensive? Goodness, do you have a mine at home? Lin Fan drove to the school gate and parked by the side. I need to wait for someone. It won't be long. Lin Fan retrieved his phone and requested Suya's WeChat, promptly reimbursing the medical expenses he had initially covered. Without inquiring whom Lin Fan was awaiting, Suya remained quietly vigilant. Shortly thereafter, a blue Audi came to a halt not far away. Upon recognizing the occupants, Lin Fan's brow furrowed in discontent. It was Wu Haichao and Lu Qian. Those two had been out reveling for the better part of the day and had only just returned. Simultaneously, Wu Haichao and Lu Qian noticed Lin Fan, exchanging a glance filled with astonishment. It was indeed peculiar that Lin Fan, after such a lengthy absence, was now driving a luxurious sports car. Furthermore, seated beside him was the campus belle, Suya, which only served to infuriate Wu Haichao. During his time at school, he had once pursued Suya, yet she had shown him no interest whatsoever. While Lu Qian was also considered attractive, she paled in comparison to Suya, a mere flower amidst refuse. Determined to confront the situation, Wu Haichao was the first to exit his vehicle and approach Lin Fan, with Lu Qian closely following. A mocking smile adorned Wu Haichao's face as he taunted, "Lin Fan, you seem to have quite the luck with the ladies." Just moments after parting ways with Qian Qian, "You've already moved on to another woman. How did that lightning strike you this morning leave you unscathed?" "Enough with your nonsense, Wu Haichao. Lin Fan and I are merely friends." Suya interjected before Lin Fan could respond, unable to contain herself. Many had pursued her, yet she still harbored a lingering memory of Wu Haichao, albeit one tinged with negativity. Friends? Who would believe that? Wu Haichao's eyes flickered with disdain. "Suya, your taste is quite curious. So many admire you at school, yet you've chosen to associate with Lin Fan." Lu Qian chimed in with derisive mockery. "Let me enlighten you. Lin Fan is nothing but a poor loser. That car is surely rented. Don't be deceived by a charade, Suya." Chapter 5. May all lovers become siblings, Wu Haichao. It would be wise for you to silence yourself. If it were not for the presence of the school gate, Lin Fan would have relished the opportunity to teach Wu Haichao a lesson. "Hey, I merely spoke a few words, and you're already displeased? That limited edition Ferrari 812 must cost a fortune to rent for a day, wouldn't it? Lin Fan, you ought to reflect upon your own pitiful appearance. Do you truly believe that renting a luxury car elevates you to the status of the affluent? A toad dreaming of swan meat." Suya, apprehensive about a potential altercation between Lin Fan and Wu Haichao, pressed her crimson lips together and implored, "Lin Fan, let us depart. Just a moment longer." Lin Fan chuckled. "In this day and age, there are far too many mad dogs. Ignoring him is the best course of action. You." Wu Haichao's face flushed with indignation. At that moment, Lin Fan's phone chimed once more. "Mr. Lin, I have arrived at the entrance of Magic City University. Where might you be? Do you see that gray convertible sports car? The individual in it is me." Zhao Yang scanned the surroundings for a brief moment before swiftly identifying Lin Fan's figure. "I see you." Zhao Yang appeared somewhat anxious as he hurried over. "Mr. Lin, I apologize for keeping you waiting. I truly did not expect you to be so youthful. You are indeed a remarkable talent." Zhao Yang began with a flurry of flattery. Although he possessed limited information about Lin Fan, anyone capable of acquiring the entire Chufeng group must be extraordinary. "Mr. Zhao," Wu Haichao, recognizing Zhao Yang's identity, quickly extended his greetings. However, Zhao Yang paid him no heed. Wu Haichao's family owned a construction materials company that collaborated with the Chufeng Group. Observing the Chufeng Group's general manager bowing respectfully before Lin Fan left Wu Haichao in a state of bewilderment. A sense of foreboding washed over him as he cautiously inquired, "Mr. Zhao, who is he?" Zhao Yang replied, "Mr. Lin holds all the shares of the Chufeng Group. Do you truly need me to clarify his identity?" "What?" Not only Wu Haichao and Lu Qian, but even Suya in the passenger seat wore expressions of astonishment. The Chufeng Group was a real estate enterprise valued at 200 billion. If Lin Fan possessed all the shares, it would imply he was a billionaire. Initially, Suya had merely perceived Lin Fan as a wealthy second-generation heir. Now, it appeared she had significantly underestimated him. How can this be? This Lin Fan is merely a penniless wretch. "Mr. Zhao, you must have mistaken him for someone else. Even this car is rented by Lin Fan. He cannot possibly be the person you seek." Zhao Yang turned his gaze toward Wu Haichao, his brow furrowing. From Wu Haichao's tone, he discerned that this individual had certainly wronged Lin Fan. "Wu Haichao, who do you think you are to dare question Mr. Lin? This limited edition Ferrari 812 is nearly impossible to find a second one of in all of Magic City. Why don't you rent one for me to see?" With a resounding slap, Zhao Yang struck Wu Haichao. "Return and inform your father that from this moment forth, the Chufeng Group shall terminate all collaborations with your company." Wu Haichao was struck with fear, his face ashen. Could it be that Lin Fan was indeed a hidden affluent heir? If that were the case, he was surely doomed. Before the colossal entity of Chufeng Group, Wu Haichao's small family business was utterly insignificant. Mr. Zhao, I was wrong. Grant me a chance. Zhao Yang replied coldly. You have offended Mr. Lin. What purpose does apologizing to me serve? Wu Haichao was drenched in cold sweat. Lin Fan, I apologize. He bowed his head, his voice trembling. Lu Qian, witnessing Wu Haichao's distress, was equally at a loss. With Lin Fan's current stature, it would take mere moments for him to ruin them. Ironically, she had mocked Lin Fan earlier that morning. Lin Fan chuckled. Wu Haichao, weren't you quite arrogant a moment ago? Lin Fan, no, Mr. Lin. I was unaware of your true identity. Please, show mercy and spare me this once. Leave. Lin Fan had neither time nor inclination to engage with Wu Haichao. No, Mr. Lin, you must not terminate our partnership. Wu Haichao's family business was facing a financial crisis, heavily reliant on Chufeng Group for most of its orders. Should Chufeng Group withdraw its cooperation, bankruptcy would be inevitable. Wu Haichao, Mr. Lin has commanded you to leave. Are you deaf? Zhao Yang exclaimed in anger. Wu Haichao felt utterly despondent. After causing such a significant uproar, his father would undoubtedly not spare him upon his return. With a gloomy countenance, he left in disgrace. Haichao, wait for me. Lu Qian, flustered, hurried after him. You jinx, you troublemaker. Get as far away from me as possible. Wu Haichao loathed Lu Qian, blaming her for his misfortune with Lin Fan. Haichao, I never anticipated it would come to this. Lu Qian's eyes brimmed with tears. Her choice of Wu Haichao was motivated solely by his family's wealth. Little did she realize that Lin Fan was the wealthiest of them all. Regret consumed her. But one misstep led to another. She could not afford to lose Wu Haichao. You deliberately sought to harm me. Lu Qian, leave me be. Also, return the phone I gifted you. Wu Haichao seized the iPhone 12 from Lu Qian's hands and drove away. He had never truly harbored feelings for her. Their union was merely a convergence of selfish motives. Couples are like birds of the same forest. When disaster strikes, they part ways. And they were not even a couple. Meanwhile, Zhao Yang handed a document to Lin Fan for his signature. Mr. Lin, when will you have time to visit the company? Zhao Yang inquired. Tomorrow morning, I suppose. Lin Fan was acutely aware that now that the company was under his name, numerous matters required his attention. Very well. I shall come to fetch you. There's no need. I will drive myself. Zhao Yang assumed Lin Fan had plans for a date and did not linger. Mr. Lin, I shall take my leave now, when time permits. I would love to treat you to a meal. Lin Fan offered no further comment as he drove off. Yet, he had not traveled far when Lu Qian chased after him again. Lin Fan, I realize my mistakes. Grant me a chance, for I still hold feelings for you. Lu Qian's face was streaked with tears, desperately pleading. Lin Fan cast a glance at Lu Qian and could only chuckle derisively. He had encountered thick-skinned individuals before, but he had never met anyone impervious to the sting of rejection. Just moments after being cast aside by Wu Haichao, she had the audacity to approach him anew. What about her dignity? Had she completely forsaken it? Lu Qian, you were not so brazen this morning. I recall distinctly. You label me merely as your backup. No, I was jesting. You mustn't take my words to heart. Lu Qian cried. Lin Fan, after all, we have shared 4 years together. Can you truly be so callous? She cast a furtive glance at Suya, seated in the passenger seat, her eyes flickering with resentment. Had the events of this morning not transpired, perhaps it would have been she occupying that very position. Alas, this world offers no room for what-ifs. Lu Qian, spare me your theatrics. At this point, even a glance at you makes me nauseous. Lin Fan refrained from further banter, pressing down on the accelerator. The Ferrari roared to life, speeding down the distant street. As Lu Qian watched Lin Fan and Suya gradually fade from view, frustration bubbled within her. Ultimately, she unleashed the most venomous curse imaginable. May all lovers in the world become siblings. Chapter 6. Misunderstanding. I truly did not expect that you have your own company now. Sitting in the car, Suya could not help but steal a glance at Lin Fan. If it were merely a small enterprise, Suya would not have been so astonished. However, it is not a big deal. Lin Fan suggested, let us visit the Mia Western restaurant. I have heard their cuisine is exquisite. That sounds fine. Half an hour later, Lin Fan drove to the Mia Western restaurant. The establishment was adorned magnificently, with splendid crystal chandeliers casting a soft glow that rendered the entire dining area elegant and serene. Upon entering the restaurant, Suya was immediately taken aback by the prices listed on the menu. This truly is an upscale dining venue, with a single steak costing over 1,000 yuan. Perhaps we should consider another place. Suya was not the type of woman who relished taking advantage of others. Had she known the prices here were so exorbitant, she would have never agreed to come. Since we are already here, we might as well dine before departing. Observing Suya's conflicted expression, Lin Fan chuckled. In today's world, women like Suya are indeed a rarity. Had it been someone like Lu Qian, who possessed a strong sense of vanity, she would have undoubtedly taken photos to flaunt on social media by now. Lin Fan took the menu, ordering 2 steaks and 2 servings of pasta. That should suffice. We may not finish it all. Noticing the abundance of dishes Lin Fan had ordered, Suya hurriedly urged him to stop. Lin Fan nodded and set the menu aside. By the way, Suya, have you found a job yet? In this day and age, with graduates flooding the market, securing a position, especially a desirable one, is quite challenging. Just a couple of days ago, I submitted my resume online and have already received a response. I'm scheduled for an interview the day after tomorrow. Where is it? Lin Fan inquired with curiosity. In Yanjing. Suya explained, both of my parents work there, so I will be able to live with them. Ah, I see. Initially, Lin Fan had contemplated inviting Suya to join his company, but upon hearing her explanation, he relinquished that thought. After they finished their meal, half an hour had already elapsed. Suya, I need to purchase a few garments. Why not accompany me? Once we are done shopping, I shall drive you back to school. Suya did not decline. The two exited the restaurant and arrived at a nearby large shopping mall. After browsing through several boutiques, Lin Fan found himself unsatisfied. Ultimately, they arrived at a Gucci clothing store. The apparel here was stylish yet elegant, though certainly not inexpensive. Lin Fan selected a few attractive outfits, and upon trying them on, he appeared even more refined. Just as Lin Fan was still in the fitting room, 2 girls and a boy entered the store. Suya, is that really you? The trio were Suya's classmates, who happened to be shopping at the mall as well. They recognized Suya's familiar silhouette, and, upon entering, were astonished to find her indeed there. What a coincidence! Are you all here to shop for clothes? Suya inquired, as she maintained a decent rapport with the 2 girls. One of them shook her head, stating that the clothing here was far too expensive for them to afford. Indeed, even a single piece here costs over 1,000 yuan, which is beyond the reach of ordinary individuals. The young man standing behind the 2 girls stepped forward and said, Suya, which piece have you set your sights on? I shall purchase it for you. This young man was named Su Jingyu, one of Suya's admirers. Although he could not be classified as a wealthy heir, his family possessed a modest fortune. No need. I'm merely accompanying a friend to browse for clothes. Suya replied. A friend? Male or female? The 2 girls began to gossip eagerly. Suya was at a loss for words. If she mentioned a male, it would surely lead to misunderstandings. At that moment, Lin Fan happened to emerge from the fitting room. Suya, could you help me assess this outfit? Lin Fan approached Suya. Who is this guy? He's quite handsome. Suya, he can't possibly be your boyfriend, can he? The 2 girls scrutinized Lin Fan with curious eyes. Suya hastily waved her hands, explaining no, he isn't. He is simply a good friend. The girls remained skeptical, and Su Jingyu was even less convinced. Ordinary friends do not venture out together for shopping. After all, it was well known that during her 4 years at university, Suya had never strolled through the streets alone with a boy. Su Jingyu felt a pang of heartache, realizing that his goddess was being pursued by someone else. Suya, your friend seems somewhat familiar. His name is Lin Fan, and he also attends our university, though he is in the computer science department. Su Jingyu squinted, finding Lin Fan increasingly displeasing. He knew many wealthy heirs at the school, yet Lin Fan was a stranger to him. It was evident that Lin Fan was not a person of means, especially as Su Jingyu noted the inexpensive clothing Lin Fan was wearing, further solidifying his belief that Lin Fan was merely a poor loser. Su Jingyu could not fathom why Suya would be attracted to someone like him. Suya, your friend is quite lacking. Why is he only choosing his own clothes and not assisting you in selecting a few? Su Jingyu remarked with a hint of sarcasm. He assumed Lin Fan could not afford anything, hoping to embarrass him. The two girls were not as preoccupied with Su Jingyu's thoughts, but they too found Lin Fan's behavior unpleasant. Indeed, Suya, your boyfriend is rather stingy. One of the girls chimed in. No, you misunderstand. He truly is not my boyfriend. Suya clarified once more. Lin Fan chuckled and said, Suya, over there is the women's clothing section. You might want to take a look. If you find something you like, I'll purchase it for you. At that moment, Lin Fan was unconcerned about money. But what? He pressed. He has said as much. Come, let us accompany you to take a look. The two girls, not waiting for Suya to finish her sentence, took her by the arm and led her toward the women's clothing area. Su Jingyu did not follow but merely stood aside, watching. Lin Fan paid no mind to Su Jingyu and continued trying on clothes. After several minutes, having completed his fitting, Lin Fan instructed the clerk to wrap up his selections. Meanwhile, Suya had tried on 2 long skirts, yet she had no intention of purchasing them. After all, each cost over 4,000, a price she had never before encountered for clothing. Suya, these 2 skirts are truly stunning. Just buy it. After all, your boyfriend is paying, urged the 2 girls. I don't like it. Suya shook her head, placing the dress back in its original spot. She and Lin Fan were merely friends, and she did not wish for him to incur unnecessary expenses. Pack these 2 dresses as well. Lin Fan approached, instructing the nearby sales assistant, as he noticed Suya's genuine fondness for those dresses. Lin Fan never mind. Suya began. It's all right. You've spent considerable time accompanying me to shop for clothes. I should treat you to something. He remarked. The 2 dresses amounted to over 8,000, which was a trifling sum for Lin Fan. Before Suya could finish her sentence, Lin Fan swiftly settled the bill using his phone. Including the garments Lin Fan had chosen, the total expenditure exceeded 50,000. Lin Fan, I apologize for misunderstanding you earlier. It's wonderful to have a boyfriend like you. The 2 girls gazed at Suya with envy. Don't get the wrong idea. Suya and I are truly just friends. Lin Fan explained with a wry smile. I don't believe it. How could you possibly be just friends when you buy her such expensive clothes? Well, this matter is beyond explanation. Lin Fan decided not to elaborate further, handing the packaged dresses to Suya. Suya lowered her head, remaining silent, her thoughts inscrutable. Chapter 7. The prestigious manor still pretending here. I suspect your credit card is maxed out. Su Jingyu scoffed quietly, disdain etched across his face. To him, Lin Fan was merely putting on a facade of affluence. Suya, are we heading back? Do you want to continue shopping? One of the girls inquired. No, I should return as well. Suya responded. Seizing the opportunity, Su Jingyu interjected. Suya, my car is parked downstairs. Allow me the pleasure of driving you home. No thanks, I will ride with Lin Fan. Suya declined. Oh, Lin Fan has a car too? Su Jingyu feigned surprise. In his view, even if Lin Fan possessed a vehicle, it could hardly be anything of quality. Mine is a BMW X2, not overly expensive, just over 300,000. I wonder what kind of luxury car Lin Fan drives. Let's go see. Su Jingyu cast a challenging glance at Lin Fan. Just a garbage truck, nothing to compare with your ride. Lin Fan replied casually. You are far too modest. Su Jingyu smirked internally. Why don't we all go take a look? The 2 girls nodded and followed Lin Fan to the parking lot. The parking lot was filled with vehicles, and soon Lin Fan halted in front of a domestically produced car. This one? Su Jingyu scoffed at the sight of the dilapidated sedan worth around 100,000. His derision intensifying. No offense, Lin Fan, but with a car like that, how can you even think of taking Suya out shopping? The other girls echoed his disdain, having expected someone of Suya's interest to be of a higher caliber. Lin Fan, take my advice and keep your distance from Suya. You are from entirely different worlds. There are plenty of good men pursuing her, and you are not one of them. Lin Fan remained silent, quietly retrieving a set of keys for a Ferrari from his pocket. At the press of a button, the limited edition Ferrari 812 across from them illuminated with brilliant lights, and its roof slowly retracted, showcasing an impressive display of technology. Apologies, but that is the actual vehicle. Su Jingyu and the others were left speechless at the sight of the luxurious sports car. Is this what you call a garbage truck? Realizing that the true fool had been himself, Su Jingyu felt his face flush with embarrassment, wishing for a hole to hide in. compared to Lin Fan's Ferrari. His own car truly was a piece of junk. One of the girls leaned closer to Suya, whispering, "Suya, this car looks so cool. It must be worth over $1 million, right?" I heard Lin Fan say it's over 10 million. 10 million? My heavens, does Lin Fan's family own mine? Suya, is Lin Fan really not your boyfriend? Suya chuckled in disbelief, reiterating, "I told you he is definitely not." In that case, Suya, it's fair competition. Don't blame us for stealing your thunder. The two girls approached Lin Fan, eager to exchange WeChat contacts. Suya was left speechless, pondering if this was the legendary plastic sisterhood. Lin Fan, we seem to have a connection. Let us add each other on WeChat so we can stay in touch. Apologies. My phone has run out of battery. Lin Fan found an excuse to decline. Ever since acquiring the sports car, the number of girls requesting his contact information had noticeably increased. I see. The two girls recognized that Lin Fan had no interest in them. Thus they ceased their pursuit. Suya, get in the car. Lin Fan gestured towards Suya. She nodded and took her place in the passenger seat. Unfortunately, the car accommodated only two. Otherwise, those two girls would have been eager to experience the sensation of riding in a luxury vehicle. As for Su Jingyu, feeling out of place, he had already slinked away. Breezing through the evening air and admiring the street scenery, Suya remained silent. After half an hour, the pair returned to campus. Upon exiting the car, Suya did not retrieve the two dresses. Lin Fan, the gifts you've given me are far too extravagant. I cannot accept them. You should take them back. They can still be returned. Suya was the type of traditional girl who would not accept gifts without reason. Although she held feelings for Lin Fan, it had not yet reached that level. Lin Fan rubbed his nose and said, "Actually, I believe those two dresses would suit you perfectly." As the car came to a halt, a few onlookers gathered. They whispered amongst themselves. Noticing the increasing number of people around her, Suya's cheeks flushed. "I will be leaving the day after tomorrow, Lin Fan. When you have time to visit Yinjing, I shall treat you to a meal. For now, this is how it will be." Blushing, Suya hurried back to her dormitory, leaving the two dresses behind. Lin Fan felt quite helpless. If it weren't for Suya's impending departure, he truly wished to pursue her. In this day and age, girls like Suya were a rarity. However, matters of the heart often rely on fate. Lin Fan drove back to the dormitory building, and scarcely had he parked when several of his roommates appeared. "Look at you, Lin Fan, driving a luxury sports car. Just a moment ago, someone mentioned you had acquired a high-end vehicle, and we didn't believe it. Now it seems to be true. Lin Fan, you're not some hidden heir to a wealthy family, are you? You've kept it well concealed." Throughout the 4 years of university, Lin Fan maintained a decent relationship with these roommates. He chuckled, choosing not to explain. "Lin Fan, you're being quite unfair. With such wealth, how could you keep it from us?" Lin Fan replied, "It's rather late now. How about this? Tomorrow I'll treat you all to dinner, and you can choose the venue. That is more like it." Lin Fan returned to his dormitory to pack his belongings before departing the university. He intended to stay at a hotel. The next morning, Lin Fan awoke in the opulent hotel room. The first thing on his agenda, of course, was to participate in the lottery. System, initiate the lottery. Lin Fan eagerly anticipated what delightful treasures he might receive today. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have won a 100 stake in the Baihao Hotel. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have won a complete estate in the top-tier manor of Modu. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have won 80 million Huaxia coins. Lin Fan excitedly took out his phone to conduct some online research. The discovery of the Baihao Hotel, valued at a staggering 15 billion, with branches in numerous major cities, marks it as a distinguished hotel brand in China. As for the exquisite manor, it boasts a building area of 2,000 square meters, designed in an elegant European style, with an estimated worth nearing 2 billion. Lin Fan initially intended to purchase a residence today, but unexpectedly, he struck gold with this luxurious estate. He decided to take some time today to visit the manor. Before long, Lin Fan received a notification of an incoming transfer of 80 million. Overwhelmed with excitement, it dawned on him that he had forgotten to call his parents last night. Hailing from a modest county, Lin Fan's family was not affluent, suddenly finding himself a billionaire. He was uncertain how to explain this windfall to his parents. After some contemplation, he retrieved his mother's bank account details and transferred 300,000 Having completed this act, Lin Fan finally departed from the hotel to enjoy breakfast. Lin Fan had arranged to meet Zhao Yang today at the company. Upon arriving at the headquarters of Chu Feng Group, it was already 9 o'clock. Mr. Lin, Zhao Yang had been waiting at the entrance for Lin Fan. As Lin Fan approached, Zhao Yang promptly greeted him with utmost respect. To Lin Fan's surprise, Wu Haichao was also present, accompanied by a middle-aged man who appeared to be Wu Haichao's father. Their visit today was primarily to extend their apologies to Lin Fan. The stakes were high. Should Chu Feng Group terminate their collaboration, the only outcome for them would be bankruptcy. Chapter 8. Mr. Lin, please come in. Zhao Yang gestured invitingly. Lin Fan nodded slightly, disregarding the presence of Wu Haichao and Wu Chang beside him. Mr. Lin, I'm already aware of yesterday's events. It was my son's foolishness. I have come specifically to apologize to you. Wu Chang was drenched in sweat, feeling immense pressure in front of Lin Fan. This young man was the hidden master of Chu Feng Group, and Wu Chang suspected that Lin Fan's background was formidable. It was entirely his son's fault. Otherwise, how could they have offended Lin Fan? Apologize? What is there to apologize for? We are not familiar. Lin Fan bypassed the two men, entering the gates of Chu Feng Group. Mr. Lin, Wu Haichao and Wu Chang attempted to follow, but were halted by Zhao Yang. Mr. Lin has no intention of forgiving you. Depart at once, and spare yourselves further embarrassment. But, Director Zhao, we have known each other for so many years. Please grant us another chance to meet with Mr. Lin. Do not cancel our collaboration. Wu Chang implored. Chu Feng Group is now entirely under Mr. Lin's command. I cannot assist you. Moreover, my relationship with you is merely professional. We are not close. With that, Zhao Yang too entered the building. Having instructed the security at the entrance not to allow Wu Haichao and Wu Chang inside. What do we do now, Dad? Wu Haichao was at a loss. Wu Chang slapped Wu Haichao hard across the face. What do you mean, what do we do? How should I know? This is all your fault. There are plenty of women in the world. Why did you have to pursue that jinx, Lu Qian? Lin Fan made his way directly to the chairman's office, reviewing the company's financial statements from the previous quarter. As for other company matters, he preferred to remain uninvolved. Mr. Lin, I have called the leadership together for a meeting to introduce you. No need. I'm quite busy and will be leaving shortly. After spending half an hour in the company, Lin Fan departed in his car. He retrieved the property deed for the manor from the system space and followed the address provided. Upon arriving at the manor's entrance, Lin Fan was greeted by the sight of its grand European-style architecture. The garden in front was well-appointed, featuring rockeries, fountains, and tall trees. Lin Fan parked his car at the manor's gate, noticed it was ajar, and walked right in. The ground was impeccably clean, and the flowers along the pathways were beautifully trimmed. Hey, who are you? How dare you trespass into someone else's home? A striking figure appeared beside Lin Fan, her voice laced with anger. Zheng Xiaoqing, the housekeeper, had received notice an hour ago that the owner of the manor would be arriving. Having served as the housekeeper for 6 months, she had yet to meet the manor's owner. Lin Fan turned around to find a strikingly beautiful woman standing before him. Zheng Xiaoqing, dressed in a sophisticated black and white office attire, possessed an alluring figure and striking features. Lin Fan surveyed Zheng Xiaoqing and said with a smile, I am Lin Fan. Are you perhaps the owner of the estate, Mr. Zhuang? Zheng Xiaoqing was taken aback by Lin Fan's youthfulness. Lin Fan nodded, presenting his identification and the estate's property deed to her. It is indeed you. I apologize, Mr. Lin, for my earlier indiscretion. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the steward here, Zheng Xiaoqing. Zheng Xiaoqing hastily apologized. Not at all. Lin Fan waved his hand. I will be residing here from now on. Please show me around. Of course, Mr. Lin. I truly didn't expect you to be so young. A smile graced Zheng Xiaoqing's lips as she led Lin Fan toward the grand hall. Mr. Lin, this is the kitchen, and over there in the backyard, there is a swimming pool. Zheng Xiaoqing diligently introduced the estate and handed Lin Fan a set of keys. I'll take a stroll on the second floor, Xiaoqing. Could you please bring the car inside? Lin Fan retrieved the car keys. Without a second thought, Zheng Xiaoqing exited the hall. As Lin Fan ascended to the second floor, he couldn't help but marvel at the vastness of the estate. Living alone here would undoubtedly be quite lonely. He selected a spacious room facing south and decided to make it his own. Standing by the window, he could see the distant street view. Before long, Zhang Xiaoqing returned with a dejected expression. Is the car parked? Lin Fan inquired. Zhang Xiaoqing shook her head. Mr. Lin, I have never driven such an expensive car before. I fear I might scratch it and would be unable to afford the repairs. Do not worry. Even if it does get scratched, you will not be held responsible. Drive with confidence. Zhang Xiaoqing, feeling somewhat helpless, could only exit once more. Approaching the entrance, she cautiously entered the car, driving slowly to avoid any mishaps. After taking a stroll around the estate, Lin Fan returned to the hall. Xiaoqing, aside from you, how many others are there in this estate? Zhang Xiaoqing replied. Aside from myself, there are 3 other servants who manage the estate. If Mr. Lin intends to reside here, we will need to hire a chef, and security personnel will also be necessary. You could take care of that. As the steward, it was naturally her responsibility to handle such matters. Also, please refrain from calling me Mr. Lin. Just call me Lin Fan. Zhang Xiaoqing hesitated for a moment before saying, there is something I need to discuss with you. What is it? Lin Fan asked. I do not intend to continue as the steward here. If you trust me, I can recommend someone for the position. Why would you want to leave as soon as I arrive? Is it because the salary is too low? No, not at all. Zhang Xiaoqing clarified. I studied economic management, and my departure is solely to seek a more challenging position. Zhang Xiaoqing, a returnee, finds herself somewhat underutilized in her role as a housekeeper. Initially, she opted for this position seeking stability in her career. Having repaid her loans, it is now time for her to contemplate her future. Coincidentally, I am in the process of establishing an investment company and am in need of someone with your talents. Here's the proposition. You shall continue as the housekeeper of the estate, and I shall provide you with a salary that is double your current one. Once the investment company is up and running, it will also be entrusted to your capable hands. Lin Fan's bank account still holds a considerable sum, which he intends to invest. Zhang Xiaoqing finds herself at a crossroads, her hesitation palpable. Frankly, the salary Lin Fan offers is quite tempting, and the position itself is undeniably appealing. Is there a lack of challenges in this role? Not at all. I merely fear my inexperience might lead to your disappointment. No worries, I have faith in you. Zhang Xiaoqing is left somewhat speechless, pondering whether she has encountered a commendable employer or if this employer is simply too laid back. It's possible I may need to move in tonight. Please hire a chef promptly, preferably someone skilled in both Eastern and Western cuisines. Understood, Zhang Xiaoqing responds. By the way, Mr. Lin, we need to acquire additional furniture. Do you have any specific preferences? Anything goes. For such minor matters, feel free to make decisions on your own without consulting me. Lin Fan suddenly remembers something, pulling out his phone to transfer 20 million to Zhang Xiaoqing. This is for the estate's expenses. Inform me when it runs low. Zhang Xiaoqing is taken aback by Lin Fan's trust in her and can only shake her head in resignation. I shall attend to my duties now. If you need me, just call. With that, Zhang Xiaoqing departs. With some idle time on his hands, Lin Fan decides to linger for a while before leaving. At that moment, an irate voice from the hallway catches his attention, belonging to Zhang Xiaoqing. Chapter 9. The car, smash Li Feipeng. How many times must I tell you that this is a private place? You cannot come in. Leave. Zhang Xiaoqing's voice was laced with fury. Before her stood a young man clad in a suit, known as Li Feipeng, a high school classmate and ardent admirer of hers. He frequently troubled her with his unwelcome visits. In his hand, he clutched a bouquet of roses, a smile adorning his face. Xiaoqing, today is your birthday. I reserved a private room at Yalangshuan. Let's dine together. Zhang Xiaoqing bit her lip. Li Feipeng, I have told you countless times. Do not come looking for me anymore. Unfazed, Li Feipeng remained obstinate, showing no intention of departing. Xiaoqing, grant me a chance. I am not that bad. If you accept me, I can provide you with everything you desire. Xiaoqing, what is the matter? Lin Fan emerged from the hall. I apologize, Mr. Lin. I am intruding on your affairs. This is a personal matter. Zhang Xiaoqing struggled to suppress her rising anger. Li Feipeng, if you do not leave now, I shall call the police. Yet Li Feipeng still did not budge, his gaze towards Lin Fan brimming with hostility. Xiaoqing, who is he? Li Feipeng inquired coldly. What he is none of your concern. Li Feipeng narrowed his eyes, fixing a frosty stare upon Lin Fan. Could it be that he is your kept man? Li Feipeng, watch your words. Zheng Xiaoqing felt her temper nearing eruption. What, did I strike a nerve? Mr. Lin is the owner of this estate. Do not spout nonsense here. Li Feipeng scrutinized Lin Fan once more, derisively retorting him, the owner of this estate? Xiaoqing, do you truly think me a fool? I have heard that the estate's owner is quite mysterious, never having appeared since its completion. The notion that Lin Fan, a young man, could be the owner was beyond Li Feipeng's belief. I give you 3 seconds. If you do not leave, I shall call the police. Zheng Xiaoqing brandished her phone. Prepare to act. Fine, I shall leave. Li Feipeng shot a dark glance at Lin Fan. Warning, kid, I advise you to keep your distance from Xiaoqing. The consequences could be dire. Clearly, Li Feipeng regarded Lin Fan as a rival. Having said that, he turned to depart. Mr. Lin, I am truly sorry. Zheng Xiaoqing expressed her regret. No worries. Attend to your matters. Lin Fan observed Li Feipeng's retreating figure, furrowing his brow. I must ensure that 2 security guards are hired. We cannot allow anyone to enter uninvited again. I shall take my leave now. Zheng Xiaoqing tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear and exited as well. Lin Fan rested in the estate until the afternoon, when Zheng Xiaoqing returned. Having toiled for most of the day, she had not found a suitable chef, but had brought back 2 servants instead. Mr. Lin, I cannot find a chef today. How about I prepare something for you? You can cook? Lin Fan inquired, astonished. Certainly, during my time studying abroad, I acquired a wealth of knowledge. Zheng Xiaoqing, filled with pride, inquired, Mr. Lin, would you prefer a meal or Western cuisine? Western cuisine would be delightful, but please don't go to great lengths. I have plans for the evening. Zheng Xiaoqing nodded, donned an apron, and proceeded to the kitchen to prepare 2 steaks for Lin Fan. Her culinary skills were indeed commendable, earning her numerous praises from Lin Fan. As night fell, Lin Fan received a call from his roommate. Lin Fan, remember you promised to treat us today. Don't forget, I was just about to head out. Where are you all? At our usual spot, the barbecue stand by the riverside. Lin Fan couldn't help but chuckle. Such a splendid opportunity, and they merely desired barbecue? Although his roommates were aware of his newfound wealth, they did not appear to be overly demanding. Such camaraderie was indeed rare. Lin Fan, if you truly intend to treat us to a lavish meal, we might not be accustomed to it. Hurry up and join us. Everyone is already here. After ending the call, Lin Fan promptly set out in his car. Unbeknownst to him, a white sedan was closely tailing him. The driver was none other than Li Feipeng. Upon returning home, Li Feipeng grew increasingly irate, prompting him to bring 3 companions along, intent on teaching Lin Fan a lesson. Brother Peng, are you certain you want to confront that sport car driver? He appears quite affluent. We might not want to provoke him. The others in the car expressed their concerns upon seeing Lin Fan's luxury vehicle. Even Li Feipeng felt a twinge of fear. He had not anticipated Lin Fan owning such an extravagant car. However, he was unwilling to retreat without satisfying his desire for retribution. Let us follow him for now. Perhaps that sports car is merely rented. Minutes later, the Ferrari came to a halt by the roadside, while Lin Fan entered the barbecue stand alone. He actually came here for barbecue. It seems he is not as wealthy as we thought. Li Feipeng scoffed. Indeed, wealthy individuals seldom frequent such establishments. I knew it. That fellow is nothing but a pauper. That sports car might very well be a modified version. Let us smash it later. Very well, Brother Peng. We shall act now. Fools, there are too many people here. Let's wait a moment. Seeing that Lin Fan would not emerge soon, Li Feipeng and his companions decided to grab a bite at a nearby eatery. Meanwhile, Lin Fan had reunited with his roommates. Lin Fan, you finally made it. Apologies. There was quite a bit of traffic. Thank you for your patience. Lin Fan ordered an array of dishes along with a case of beer. An hour later, everyone except Lin Fan was inebriated. Although Lin Fan had consumed alcohol, his tolerance had significantly increased since he began taking the basic gene serum. After bidding farewell to his roommates, Lin Fan intended to call for a designated driver. Yet, upon seeing Lin Fan's car, no one dared to accept the job. After all, it was a limited edition sports car worth over 10 million. Should anything go awry, the consequences would be dire. Left with no other option, Lin Fan placed a call to Zheng Xiaoqing, requesting her assistance. Zheng Xiaoqing swiftly arrived, driving a sports car to escort Lin Fan back to the estate. As they traversed a less populated street, a white sedan suddenly surged forward, forcing Lin Fan's Ferrari to a halt. Li Feipeng, accompanied by 3 men, exited the vehicle with an air of aggression. "Smash that worthless car," commanded Li, as the trio wielded iron rods, launching a barrage of strikes against the sleek exterior of the sports car. Lin Fan furrowed his brows and quickly pulled Zheng Xiaoqing out of the vehicle. "Li Feipeng, what do you intend to do? Command your men to cease this madness," Zheng Xiaoqing exclaimed, her voice laced with fury. "Xiaoqing, today I shall merely teach this brat a lesson. Do not interfere." Lin Fan, equally enraged, had hoped to avoid a confrontation with Li Feipeng earlier at the estate. Little did he anticipate that Li would resort to vandalizing his car. "Just because you drive a modified vehicle, you think yourself wealthy? Boy, if you leave Xiaoqing now, I might still grant you a chance." Li Feipeng sneered, pointing a finger at Lin Fan with haughty arrogance. "Xiaoqing, call the police." Lin Fan disregarded Li Feipeng entirely. Zheng Xiaoqing nodded, retrieving her phone. "Wretched girl, you dare assist him." Li Feipeng, infuriated, lunged to snatch Zheng Xiaoqing's phone. In a swift motion, Lin Fan tripped Li Feipeng, sending him sprawling to the ground. The other 3 men, witnessing their leader's downfall, rushed forward. After consuming a basic gene serum, Lin Fan had significantly enhanced both his speed and physical strength, rendering the trio no match for him. How infuriating! This brat is unexpectedly formidable. I miscalculated. Zheng Xiaoqing was taken aback by Lin Fan's prowess. With Li Feipeng beneath his foot, Lin Fan coldly declared, "Dare to bring your lackeys to vandalize my car? Prepare to pay for your actions." Li Feipeng attempted to rise, but failed miserably, his face reddening from the humiliation of being pinned down. "What is this nonsense? Just pay me for the damage. How much could your pathetic modified car possibly be worth? You best release me, or you'll regret it later." Lin Fan replied, "Your threats hold no weight with me. You will be held accountable for willful destruction of property, and given the severity of the situation, expect to be detained." The Ferrari had endured numerous blows, its body now warped. Gritting his teeth, Li Feipeng retorted, "Let me inform you, my father is the general manager of Billionaire Hotel, earning over $1 million annually. Do you think I fear you? General manager of Billionaire Hotel?" Lin Fan chuckled. "What a coincidence. Call your father and see if he can come to your rescue." Li Feipeng dialed his father, Bijirhui. Dad, I'm outside and being attacked. Hurry and save me." A booming voice resonated through the phone. "Who dares to strike my son?" Being the sole heir, Li Feipeng was cherished in his family. Lin Fan snatched the phone from Li's grasp, stating, "I am Lin Fan, and it was I who struck your son." "Lin Fan? That name rings a bell. Today, someone acquired Billionaire Hotel, and that person is named Lin Fan. What a coincidence. Could it be that you're the Lin Fan who purchased Billionaire Hotel?" Li Zhihui felt uncertain. "It is indeed I," Lin Fan declared. "Now that I have beaten your son, I wonder if you have any objections?" "No objections, none at all." Li Zhihui's demeanor shifted immediately. How could he dare to offend his own employer? "If you have no objections, then I have some," Lin Fan retorted. "Your son has damaged my car. What do you propose we do about it?" Chapter 10. Koenigsegg, Mr. Lin. It's all a misunderstanding. Li Zhihui wished he could strike his son dead. "Why did you provoke Lin Fan, of all people? How about this, Mr. Lin? I will compensate you with a new car." "A new car, you say?" "Very well," Lin Fan replied. "My car was purchased just yesterday, a limited edition Ferrari 812, worth 16 million. "What? 16 million? Li Zhihui was taken aback. If it were merely a couple of million, he could manage it. But over 10 million? That would cost him dearly. How could I have raised such a wastrel?" he exclaimed in fury. Li Feipeng realized he had offended someone he should not have, his complexion paling. Even his father feared Lin Fan's status. Good heavens, who exactly is Lin Fan? Could he truly be the master of the estate? The thought of this possibility made Li Feipeng regret his actions deeply. "So, that sports car is indeed real. Mr. Lin, I do not have that much money. How about this? You send the car for repairs, and I will cover any costs." Li Zhihui had not anticipated matters escalating to this extent. "As for compensation, I will consult with my lawyer. The police are on their way. If you wish to see your son, you may do so at the police station. Also, Prepare your resignation letter for tomorrow. Li Zhihui, the general manager of the Bahao Hotel, knew that after this incident, Lin Fan would certainly not retain him. A failure to educate is the father's fault. With a son like that, the father was not much better. Mr. Lin, this is all a misunderstanding, Li Zhihui implored. Desperate to keep his job. Whether it's a misunderstanding or not, the police will investigate. Lin Fan said no more and ended the call. Before long, the police arrived at the scene. Lin Fan and Zheng Xiaoqing were taken back to give their statements. The car's dashcam had thoroughly recorded the criminal acts of Li Feiping and his associates. The intentional destruction of property could land Li Feiping in prison for several years. Lin Fan contacted the Ferrari service personnel, who informed him that the car would need to be sent to the factory for repairs. Although the damage was not severe, being a limited edition vehicle, the repair costs would certainly be substantial, amounting to hundreds of thousands. It was only deep into the night that Lin Fan and Zheng Xiaoqing left the police station after completing their statements. Mr. Lin, it's all my fault, Zheng Xiaoqing lamented. If it weren't for her, Li Feiping would not have troubled Lin Fan. It's all right. Lin Fan checked his phone, noticing several missed calls from his mother. He had not paid attention to them while at the police station. Now it was quite late, and he decided to return the call tomorrow. It's late, Xiaoqing. You should head home and rest. Zheng Xiaoqing nodded, saying nothing further. They each took a taxi back home. The next morning, Lin Fan awoke from his soft bed. The first thought that flashed through his mind was, the lottery. System, let us draw. Lin Fan was filled with anticipation. He had drawn remarkable items in the past. He wondered what this time would bring. Ding. Congratulations, host, on acquiring all shares of Yulangshuan. Ding. Congratulations, host, on winning a Ducati Superleggera V4. Ding. Congratulations, host, on obtaining a Koenigsegg 1-1. Yulangshuan is a renowned top-tier restaurant in the bustling metropolis, where dining is not merely a casual affair, but a privilege that often requires a week's advance reservation. Furthermore, the private dining rooms operate on a membership basis, rendering them inaccessible to the general public. The Ducati Superleggera V4, though merely a motorcycle, commands a staggering price of 1.5 million. Indeed, Ducati is the Ferrari of motorcycles. As for the Koenigsegg 1-1, its acquisition left Lin Fan nearly breathless with excitement. This luxury sports car is a limited edition, with only 6 in existence worldwide. Its price exceeds 100 million, just as his newly acquired Ferrari had been damaged. Fate had bestowed upon him yet another magnificent vehicle. Truly, the system understands him. Oh, how I adore you, system. Once the exhilaration subsided, Lin Fan retrieved his phone and dialed his mother's number. Mom, have you had breakfast? He inquired cheerfully. I've already eaten, replied his mother. Lin Fan, I called you last night. Why didn't you answer? He explained, I was preoccupied with something important and didn't notice. By the way, I received a sudden transfer of 300,000 to my bank account yesterday. Does that have anything to do with you? Upon receiving the transfer notification, Lin Fan's mother was taken aback, having never received such a substantial sum in her lifetime. It's just that, Mom. I've been engaged in some business with friends and earn a little money, so you can keep that amount. Lin Fan casually fabricated an excuse. But aren't you still in school? What kind of business are you doing? His mother pressed. It's all legitimate. He reassured her. Next week is Dad's birthday, and I'll be coming home then. We could discuss it further. His mother added, didn't you mention you had a girlfriend? It would be nice for her to come along. Let us not get into that. We've broken up, Lin Fan replied with a wry smile. Oh, that's truly unfortunate. His mother's tone carried a hint of regret. After a brief conversation, Lin Fan ended the call. Having completed his morning routine, Lin Fan stepped out of his room. At that moment, Zheng Xiaoqing had prepared breakfast. Before securing a chef, she had to endure the extra effort herself. Good morning, Mr. Lin. Zheng Xiaoqing greeted him with a smile. Lin Fan nodded and invited her to join him for breakfast. Initially, Zheng Xiaoqing felt somewhat reserved, realizing her position as merely a housekeeper. However, as time passed, she began to relax, discovering that Lin Fan was quite amiable. Mr. Lin, you mentioned wanting to establish an investment company. When do you anticipate this will happen? I need to make some preparations. Lin Fan replied, there's no rush. The general manager position at Bahao Hotel has opened up, Please assist me in finding a replacement. His disdain for Li Zhihui ensured that the latter would not remain at Baihao Hotel. No problem. I shall take care of this matter. Zheng Xiaoqing felt that she was almost becoming Lin Fan's personal secretary. I am quite curious. How many companies do you actually have? Zheng Xiaoqing gazed intently into Lin Fan's eyes. You will know in due time. Lin Fan did not provide a direct answer. Now, he was a person with a system. Who could tell what tomorrow might bring? After breakfast, Lin Fan strolled alone through the estate. Noticing that Zheng Xiaoqing had not followed him, he extracted the 2 vehicles he had drawn from the system space. The paperwork for those 2 cars had already been completed, allowing them to hit the road immediately. This indeed saved Lin Fan a considerable amount of time. Before long, the Koenigsegg supercar and the Ducati motorcycle appeared at the entrance of the estate. The Koenigsegg 1-1, priced at over 100 million, exuded a more imposing presence than the previous Ferrari 812. Naturally, its performance was even more exceptional. Meanwhile, the Ducati Superleggera V4 motorcycle also showcased a luxurious design. Taking it out for a spin in the evening would indeed be quite delightful.